It's time for a mock draft. It's time for a mock draft. It's time for a mock draft. It's time for mock draft 5.0 with trades first and second round. How's it going, everybody? It's Troy. This is the Half Court Report YouTube channel, and if you know anything about me, you know that I love mock drafts. 5.0 first and second round. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff, and we're gonna get right into it. First pick, Detroit Pistons. They're going with Cade Cunningham. I'm gonna run through these first few picks because not a lot has changed, but this guy is the #1 player on pretty much every mock draft board that I've seen. He's my #1 on mock draft 5.0 as well. This guy looks to be a multiple-time All-Star, a guy that you run your offense through, a big-time defender, and a winner. Detroit, they got themselves a good one with Cade Cunningham. Pick #2, Houston Rockets, going with Jalen Green of the G League Ignite team. This guy could lead the league in scoring one day because he is a scoring machine, really explosive player, awesome athlete. He and Kevin Porter Jr. could be a killer backcourt down the road. Pick #3, Cleveland Cavaliers are going with Evan Mobley. He's got the skills and the defensive ability that you really look for in a modern big man in today's NBA. Tons of upside. I see Chris Bosh, Pau Gasol type comparisons with this guy. This gives Cleveland another good prospect. Pick #4, Toronto Raptors. They're picking Jalen Suggs. He is one of the best point guards in the draft. Kind of see him as a modern day Brandon Roy, but he's got offense, he's got defense, he can take contact. I think he and Fred VanVleet as the new backcourt of the Raptors looks pretty good to me. Pick #5, Orlando Magic, going with Scottie Barnes. 6'8" forward, 7'2" wingspan, one of those dudes who can legit defend 1 through 5. He just needs to get a little bit better on offense, but when he does, watch out. And I think that he and Jonathan Isaac can play together for Orlando. Add in Markelle Fultz, Cole Anthony, Wendell Carter. That's a nice young team. Pick #6, Oklahoma City Thunder, going with James BOUKNIGHT, Jimmy Books. This dude's an athlete and a scorer. I like him with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in that backcourt, and I think one of the best shot creators in the draft. Pick #7, going to be made by the Golden State Warriors, and they are going with Jonathan Kuminga, who is a teammate of Jalen Green on the G League Ignite team. About a year ago, though, I saw Kuminga as the #1 player in some mock drafts. So Golden State, they're getting them a good one if he falls to the 7th spot. Really great athlete, just needs to refine his game and get a little bit more experience. Pick #8, Orlando Magic, and they are going with Moses Moody. He was actually a teammate of Cade Cunningham and Scottie Barnes in high school. How good was that team, huh? But you draft Moses Moody based on his 3-and-D potential. But he's a shooter, he's a hustler. You picked Scottie Barnes earlier. Now you got his high school teammate and potentially your 2-guard of the future. Pick #9, going to be made by the Sacramento Kings. They're going with FRANZ Wagner. But Franz fits a need for Sacramento, and the Sacramento front office really relies heavily on analytics, and the analytics love the game of FRANZ Wagner. He's a good shooter, but he's also a good defender. Maybe Sacramento will finally make it out of the lottery by next year. We can hope, though, right? Pick #10, going to be made by the Memphis Grizzlies. Originally, this was New Orleans pick, but due to the Jonas Valanciunas, Steven Adams, Eric Bledsoe trade, this is now Memphis's pick, and they're going with Josh Giddey. Giddy up, Memphis. Josh is a big playmaker, does need to develop his scoring a little bit, but has a great feel for the game. I think Memphis could play Giddey at the 2 or the 3 and give the team another playmaker to put along with Ja Morant. Pick #11, going to be made by the Charlotte Hornets. They are going with Jalen Johnson. 6'9" power forward who can handle the ball. He can make plays like a guard. Similar with the Memphis pick, another playmaker to have on the floor. Big question with Jalen Johnson is what is his mental makeup? Because there are some red flags. Because not only did he leave high school early in his team, but he also left the Duke team early. So that's something he is going to have to address with the team that picks him. Pick #12, going to be made by the San Antonio Spurs. They're going with ALPERNEN ŞENGÜN. Offense is no issue for ŞENGÜN. He's also got one of the highest basketball IQs in the draft. Big questions for him, though, on defense. But San Antonio Spurs, they have lots of questions with their front court, and I think ŞENGÜN would be a good fit. Pick number 13 going to be made by the Indiana Pacers, and we have a trade. We have a trade. This is big. This is huge. Okay. All right. This trade involves the Memphis Grizzlies and the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors are trading Jonathan Kuminga to the Memphis Grizzlies for Josh Giddey, Brandon Clark, and a future first-round pick. Okay, so this is big because Memphis has been wanting to move up even higher in this draft after the trade with New Orleans. They get their guy in Kuminga. The Warriors have been interested in Josh Giddey. They also get a young piece in Brandon Clark along with a future pick. How about that? Okay, pick number 13 now, going to be made by the Indiana Pacers. They are going with Corey Kispert. Indiana, they want to get back in the playoffs. They need a guy who can help them right now, and I think he can do that. Awesome shooter. He is a steal this late in the lottery. Immediate rotation player. Pick number 14, Golden State Warriors again. They just made that trade for Josh Giddey. Now they select Trey Murphy III. Of course, a dude with a name like Trey, and if he's the third, he's got to be a good three-point shooter. That's what Golden State wants, and that's what they are getting with Trey Murphy III. Stretch big, and these dudes from Virginia always seem to work out in the NBA. I would bet on him having a long career. Pick number 15, going to be made by the Washington Wizards. They were going with Davion Mitchell. He was on that championship Baylor team, took a leap this year as a shooter. He would complement the Wizards' main guys really well, serve as a good backup for Russell Westbrook too. Pick number 16, going to be made by the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're going with Chris Duarte. They picked Jimmy Books in the lotto. Now they're going with Duarte, one of the oldest players in the draft. He's basically like Devin Booker's age, but he is another knockdown shooter, has that winning mentality. I think he could contribute right off the bat. I'm a big fan of his game. Pick number 17, this was formerly Memphis's pick, but due to the trade I talked about, now in New Orleans, and they're going with USMAN GARUBA. He plays in the Spanish League, one of the top international players in the draft. Did not get a ton of minutes, so his stats aren't that great, but he's got really nice defense, really good hustle player, nice passer, strong rebounder, could be one of the best defenders in the league in a few years, actually. Offense, though, does need to catch up. Pick number 18, going to be made by the Oklahoma City Thunder again. They are going with Zaire Williams from Stanford University, a Stanford man. He was a top 10 pick this time last year, but he did kind of fall off his first year in college, but he is really good in the open court, just needs to get stronger, needs to be a little more consistent as a shooter, but if he puts it all together, you could have another Paul George on your hands. Pick number 19, going to be made by the New York Knicks. They are going with Keon Johnson. Tibbs values defense, and KJ is one of the best defenders in the draft. Also one of the best athletes, too. I've said it before, he has that bulldog mentality, just needs to improve on offense, and I think he could be a really, really good player. Pick number 20, going to be made by the Atlanta Hawks, and they are going with Jared Butler, also from that championship Baylor team. Strong shooter, creative playmaker. I think Atlanta needs that behind Trae Young. Maybe a little undersized, but the dude is already a pro, and I think he would be a good pick for the Hawks. Pick number 21, it's the Knicks again, and this time they're going with Kai Jones. He's a big man, almost 7 feet tall, elite athlete. More of a project right now, but could end up being a home run pick, maybe some insurance if they don't re-sign Mitchell Robinson too. Pick number 22, LA Lakers, and they are going with Cameron Thomas. This dude is a straight up scorer, a little bit of a chucker perhaps, not a good defender really at all either. But I think he's the type of guy who can just come in off the bench and get you 20 or 25 points like that. I would like to see him do more than just score the ball, but if you're going to win a lot of games, then you need to be scoring lots of points. Pick number 23, going to be made by the Houston Rockets. They're going with Jaden Springer, college teammate of Keon Johnson, who the Knicks picked a few picks ago. Right now, Springer is a hustle player. He's also a good defender. Needs to fine-tune his shot, fine-tune his game, but he does have all the tools to be in a rotation down the line. Houston, in collecting assets mode, they need everything they can on their team. Houston also has pick number 24, and then another trade. We have another trade, guys. Okay. What's the trade? Okay, this trade. This is another good one. This trade The Lakers trading Cameron Thomas and a future first-round pick to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Chris Duarte. Duarte was a guy that the Lakers had targeted, and they are getting their man with this trade. How about that? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, now for pick number 24, Houston Rockets, Isaiah Jackson, University of Kentucky. And just forget about this dude's picture looking like a driver's license photo. That's basically all I could find of him on Google. But he came on strong at the end of the season. He's a terrific shot blocker, lob catcher. Houston needs big guys. They need everything, really. So I have him picking Isaiah Jackson here. Pick number 25, LA Clippers are going with Brandon Boston Jr., BJ Boston. This dude was a lotto pick, even a top 5 pick before the college season started, but similar to other players on this list, he did not have a good year in college. The question is that who he is, or is he one of the best high school players in the country, which is what he was a year ago? So he's a young piece for the Clippers to bet on. They have lots of picks that they lost in the Paul George trade, so they need to find a steal late in the draft, hoping they can do it with BJ Boston. Pick number 26 is going to be made by the Denver Nuggets. They're going with Sharife Cooper. He played at Auburn, where he was a high-usage player. Look at those assist numbers. That's hard to do in college, you know, but he was not a very efficient player, and he was not a very good defender. Really small guy, zips all up and down the floor as a point guard, but Jamal Murray may miss all or most of next season, so point guard will be a position of need for the Nuggets. Pick number 27, going to be made by the Brooklyn Nets. They are going with Jeremiah Robinson Earl. This guy has the longest name in the draft. Couldn't even fit it all on the screen here, but comes from that really good Villanova program. Type of dude who understands how to play the game. Going to be a good teammate, solid defender. And I think he can be a rotation guy for the Nets. Pick number 28, going to be made by the Sixers. They are going with TREY Man. TREY is a knockdown shooter, has a good handle, just needs to work on his defense. Sixers fans, I think, will really like this guy, though. Maybe they can get with TREY Man what they wanted to get with Zaire Smith a few years ago, but did not work out. Next up, pick 29, Phoenix Suns. We have another trade. Okay, this trade. This is a big one. The Knicks trading Keon Johnson and Kai Jones to the Sacramento Kings for FRANZ Wagner and the 39th pick. This trade gives the Knicks another shooter, gives them another defender in Wagner, gives the Kings a big man and a young up-and-coming two-guard in Keon Johnson and Kai Jones. Great trade for both teams, if I do say so myself. Thank you very much. Here's thank you. Okay. Pick 29, Phoenix. They're picking Miles McBride. This guy moved up draft boards from the second round. I have him as a first rounder now, but gritty, tough point guard. He can play the 1 or the 2. He's also a good shooter with lots of translatable skills. I think he can play right away for the Western Conference champions. Pick number 30, going to be made by the Utah Jazz. They're going with Joshua Primo. You draft Primo here hoping that you're getting a lottery pick a year early, because this guy is the youngest player in the draft by a wide margin. He didn't play a whole lot in college because this was a very veteran team, but when he did play, he did his job. He's very coachable. He's a good shooter. Stick him in the G League a couple years, let him develop. Utah is a veteran team who can afford to draft a young guy that they can develop for the future. Okay, that was the first 30 picks. We are now going into the second round, picks 31 through 60. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe, especially if you are new. Would love to have you be a part of the Half Court Report YouTube channel. So in the second round, you're going to have... So for the second round, you're going to have guys that have fallen, maybe should have been first-round picks, but for whatever reason, teams are hoping they can get some second-round steals. You're going to have guys who will end up being two-way players. You're going to have guys who may fill out the G League team for their respective franchises, and you're going to have lots of international players. So let's get right to it. Pick number 31, going to be made by the world champion Milwaukee Bucks. They're going with DOSUNMU, one of the best players in college. I think he's a steal this late in the draft. He can play both guard spots, bring some size and versatility. One of those dudes who just knows how to win and probably should have gone a lot higher. Pick number 32, going to be made by the New York Knicks, and they are going with Rokas Jokubaitis, one of the best young players in Europe. Really nice point guard, skilled as a ball handler, passer, and shooter. One of those dudes you keep overseas for a couple of years, let him develop. Pick number 33, Orlando Magic. They picked Scottie Barnes and Moses Moody earlier on. Now they're going with the big man, JT Thor. Jesus Terwilliger Thor. This dude has impressive size, length, athleticism, shooting touch. Mobama didn't really work out, so this is another big for Orlando to develop. Pick number 34, Oklahoma City Thunder already picked up Jimmy Books, Zaire Williams, Cam Thomas. They're going with a big man now in Isaiah Todd. This guy is a sleeper in my opinion. Played in the G League last year, but was great in high school. Maybe fell off a little bit his first year out of a high school setting, but he has to get stronger, improve his feel for the game, but I think he could be something one of these days. Pick number 35, New Orleans Pelicans got USMAN GARUBA earlier in the draft. Now they're going with Bones Hyland. He gets buckets, he has instant offense, he's got some good range on his shot, but his name is Bones. That's because he's super skinny, but I think the food in New Orleans will fatten him up pretty quick. Pick number 36, it's the Thunder again. They're going with Herbert Jones. Don't call him Hey Bear. He can defend all 5 positions. He's got a 7-foot wingspan. Like other dudes I've talked about, does need to improve his shooting, but he passes the eye test as an NBA player, as they say. Good feel for the game. Potential second-round steal. Pick number 37, Detroit Pistons are going with Josh Christopher, the man with 2 first names. Similar to BJ Boston, he was a really awesome player coming out of high school, but didn't show a lot his 1 year in college. Really doesn't defend a whole lot, just kind of a chucker right now. So I think Detroit will have to be patient with him and bank on some good development, turning him into something someday. Pick number 38, Chicago Bulls going with Day'Ron Sharpe. He was on that awesome high school team with Cade Cunningham, Scottie Barnes, and Moses Moody, but he is a high motor big man, rebounds a ton. You can even run the offense through him a little bit. Just needs to get better with his shooting, but I've actually seen videos of him draining some pretty good shots, so he may be working on that already. Good pickup though, and a nice understudy for Nikola Vucevic. Pick number 39, it's a New York pick after that trade earlier on. They are now going with Joel Ayayi. He's a well-rounded player from that Gonzaga team that had Jalen Suggs and Corey Kispert. But a good defender, secondary ball handler, just as I've said before, needs to get a little more consistent with his shot. Pick number 40, Memphis Grizzlies going with Santi Aldama. This dude was a killer in college. He's a smart, big man, high basketball IQ. Could he be the next great Spaniard in the NBA? Memphis has already had 2 of them. 3 if you count Juan Carlos Navarro. So maybe it is time for Aldama to take over Memphis. Pick number 41, going to be made by the San Antonio Spurs. They're going with Quentin Grimes, misanthropy herself, but Quentin Grimes was a 5-star high school prospect. Played for KU, then he played for Houston in college, 3-and-D type of player. He's a really hard worker, getting lots of love from teams. Pick number 42, it's the Pistons again, going with FRANZ Bleidenberg. FRANZ follows me on Twitter, so I got to show FRANZ some love. But I think he actually has the opportunity and the chance to be a really good player in the league one day. Just needs to get a little bit stronger, needs to be a little more consistent with his shot and his defense. But one of those big playmakers who can handle the ball. Kind of a poor man's Aleksej Pokusevski. Pick number 43, going to be the New Orleans Pelicans, going with Juwan Bagarin. He's a good stash option, great passer, nice potential. One of those prospects you check on in a couple of years. Pick number 44, Brooklyn Nets, Charles Bassey. Chucky Bass. He's a center in that Mitchell Robinson vein. Really good value here in the mid-40s. I think he could be a guy who is in the rotation as a rookie, believe it or not. Pick number 45, Boston Celtics. They are going with Jason Preston. I love this guy's story. He came out of nowhere to be a legit NBA prospect. He averaged 2 points in high school, okay? 2 points. Now, he's going to the NBA. He's a hard worker, very cerebral player, good size, and a nice passer. Pick number 46, Toronto Raptors, Joe Wieskamp, big-time shooter. Duncan Robinson vibes from this dude. Just needs to keep getting better in that area as a shooter. And for pick number 47, it's also the Raptors. They're picking his teammate, Luka Garza. Two Iowa guys now playing in Toronto, but Garza was the National Player of the Year. Doesn't really have the type of athleticism needed to excel in today's NBA, maybe like he would have 20 years ago. Because, I mean, I think 20 years ago, Garza would have been like a top 5 pick, but I actually like him pretty well, and Toronto has no big men. He's definitely going to give you more than Aaron Baines was able to give last year, right? Oh, and also, just Google Luka Garza cyst. This dude had like a 9-pound cyst removed from his abdomen, which it has nothing to do with basketball, but that is a really weird story, okay? Pick number 48, Atlanta Hawks, going with Moses Wright. He is a late bloomer who did not play basketball until high school, but he had good numbers in college. Active big man and probably a two-way player for now, but nice Georgia guy for Atlanta to pick up. Pick number 49, going to be made by the Brooklyn Nets, going with Kessler Edwards. Shooting and defense is his calling card. 3-and-D type player. Teams like that, and Brooklyn is no exception. Pick number 50, Philadelphia 76ers. Greg Brown is the pick. He's a big man. He's an explosive leaper, awesome athlete, but he needs to show more than just being a really good athlete, because there's much more to being an NBA player than that. But if he can put it all together, this guy could be a star in the league one day, but it is a big if, high bust potential with Greg Brown. But if you're getting him in the 50s, you're not risking a whole lot. Pick number 51, New Orleans Pelicans again. They're putting the hurt on with Matthew Hurt. 5-star player in high school, shoots it well, but really that's all he does. Doesn't really have defense. He's slow, not really a great athlete. So can he be more than a shooter? If so, this is probably first-round talent we're looking at right here. Pick number 52, Detroit Pistons again, Isaiah Livers. Hey, where's the onions? This guy is a straight-up Michigan dude. Terrific spot-up shooter. Detroit will like his 3-and-D potential. He does have some injury concerns, though, which is causing him to slide in this draft. Pick number 53, it's the Pelicans again, and they are going with David Johnson. Good defense, elite passing from that guard spot, nice feel for the game. Not a great athlete, and he is injury prone. His shooting also needs work, but the guy you take a flyer on. Maybe he makes it as a two-way player starting out. Pick number 54, and the Indiana Pacers are going with Neemias Queta. Inside player and rebounder who blocks, he steals, he has good defense. Am I crazy to think that he could be the backup for Miles Turner from day one? Be that dirty work guy the Pacers could use? Maybe I'm crazy. Pick number 55, going to be made by the Thunder again. They are going with Aaron Wiggins, no relation to Andrew, I don't think. Inconsistent shooter though, improving defensively, however. He could stick in the league. Hey, we'll see. Pick number 56, Charlotte Hornets. Austin Reeves is the pick. Another inconsistent shooter, but he has that unique skill set, and he's a good competitor. Again, we're in the 50s, maybe an end of the bench kind of guy. 57 is also Charlotte. They're going with Jericho Sims. Got to draft this guy on his name alone, right? But he does lots of things really well that translate to the NBA. Paint protector, switchable defender, good finisher around the hoop. Backup center, but hey, at 57, that's a pretty good deal. Pick number 58, New York Knicks, Raquan Gray. This dude is a tank. He's like 6'6", 6'7", but almost 300 pounds. So you're not moving this guy when he's down in the paint. He's quick on his feet, though, which is cool for being so big. He can defend, he can pass. Maybe he'll turn into something down the road. Pick number 59, Brooklyn Nets, Daishen Nix is the pick. He was a 5-star point guard in high school out of Alaska, believe it or not. But he didn't have a great year out of college in the G League. He's a young player, so you just need to develop him. He's not ready for the NBA yet, but put him on a two-way, see what you have in a few years. Pick number 60, final pick, mock draft 2021 5.0. Aaron Henry is the pick. This dude has all the tools, but for whatever reason hasn't really been able to put it all together yet. You draft him to be a 3-and-D player. He has that Michigan State pedigree, so you know he is going to be tough. Hey guys, that is Mock Draft 5.0. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to drop a like and sub to the channel. This video took a lot of work, so show some love by clicking that thumbs up button and subbing. Okay, let me know in the comments who I didn't include, what picks I got wrong, who you want to be on your team that maybe I didn't pick for you, and we'll have us a nice little discussion in the comments about it. Okay, that's all I got for today. So excited for the draft, and man, I just love draft videos, and I love mock drafts, and hope you do too. We'll see you next time for the next video. My name is Troy. Have a good one.